How's the sound now? I thought if I had both of these buttons pressed, it echoed, so. I hate the start of every video has, "Can you hear me now?" I feel like a commercial. Okay, everybody's saying hi. Okay, sound is good now? I don't I had only one on last time, and if I put two on it, the two different buttons, it echoed, so I don't know. We'll see when we switch cameras what happens with that. So anyway, happy Friday, all that good stuff. I thought it was Thursday till about 2:30. Sarah and I were out doing errands, and all of a sudden I went, "Is today Friday?" And she goes, "Yeah." And I went, "I have a show at 4. We were going to stop at Joann's, so I didn't get my stop in, but I'll either go out tonight or I will go in the morning." But it was like, wait a minute, it's Friday. You can tell I'm out of practice for being on a schedule again. So, I do have it in for every Friday at this time, into the middle of March right now. So I'm planning it out a couple weeks in advance. Excuse me. So it seems to be feeling good to be doing that. So we'll keep it up as long as we can. So we're continuing to work
on the Past Adventure album. And that is using the Forgotten Garden digital paper, both of which the video tutorial for assembling the pages themselves is on my is in my website, as is the Forgotten Garden digital paper. So both of those are available in my on my website. And now the echo's back. See, I told you. All right, does that get rid of the echo? I probably should talk a little more. So, is that better now? Is it not echoing now? See, I hate this delay because I say that and I have to wait a good minute before you guys respond. If just Joy can answer me, so okay, sound is good again. Okay, great. All right, now we're back. See, that's why I was confused, because if I just put the one on and not the other one, it doesn't echo. So when I needed both, and it was so. All right, now we're straight again. So anyway, where was I? Oh, I was talking about the pattern, the Past Adventures photo journal, and the digital paper collection I'm using is the Forgotten Garden, and both of those are available on my website. So we are continuing on with that, and I didn't get an opportunity to work on the pages. I'm under high level of stress right now. I'm working on a project for the future, as well as working on my 100-day project, and that the stress of I'm about a couple days behind on my 100-day project, and that's stressful. It's keeping up with it. So if I can just get in front of it again, I'm fine. But so I'm trying not to let that get me too stressed out. But I needed a chance to work on this because I got this wild hair project that I'm working on. So I'm thinking maybe I'll work on the cover rather than another page today. I know people really like it. They always, when I vote a page or cover, everybody picks a cover. So I'll put it up for a vote, but it's a dictatorship. I mean, I try to look like I'm a democracy, but let's face it, I really am, as my kids used to say, the supreme ruler. So if I don't want to do what you guys want me to do, generally I kind of don't. But so, does people want to do the cover or another page? So if I'm wiggling around, I'm trying to take my socks off. I can't stand wearing my shoes and socks in the house, so I have to get those off. So I like to be barefoot. My husband's the opposite. You never see his bare feet, so it's pretty funny. Cover. So Jane says cover. So, but most of you like for me to do the cover. So I thought maybe we do that today, and then we can work on the remaining pages as we're going along. I have no schedule as to when this needs to be done. It used to be when back in 2015, which is kind of like the height of everything, 2.5 weeks, bam. We did every project in 5 to 6 shows. And we just rolled through and churned through. So that's why so many of you have either unfinished projects or unopened kits, because we were churning back in those days. I can't churn like that anymore. So we're just going to work on this one. Too hot to wear socks. We just finally got all our snow to melt, Joyce, so it's not too hot here. Anyway, but yeah, so on these projects, we're going low key these days, and when they're done, they're done. So we're just going to keep on working on this one. The only deadline I have is I do want to do the photo carousel project to start on National Scrapbook Day, which is that first Saturday in May. So we've still got 2 months, but I plan to have this one done, and hopefully on another project as well before then. So, but we're gonna keep on working on this one, and we'll see how long it takes. So. Alrighty, so I'm going to go ahead and switch cameras, and is there any questions anybody has? Alright, so I'm not getting any, so let me go ahead and switch cameras, and we'll do a sound check once I switch cameras too. Alright, is sound still okay with the camera switch? Let me switch that back so it's not on camera as much anyway. February has zoomed by. January and February both zoomed by. January was a little crazy, and I really can pass on living through another January again, but February has zoomed by. I am very, very, very excited to announce that my mom got her second COVID shot yesterday, and so another 2 weeks and I will be breathing a whole lot easier. And you know, whenever it comes up the turn for my husband and I, will both get them in. The kids can make they're adults, they get to make their own choices. So anyway, alrighty. So this is what we had worked on. Oops, I untied that and I shouldn't have. This is the back side, so it was either this page or the cover. So we're gonna wait. We'll do this one next time. So this is the one we excuse me. This is the one that we worked on last time. With the paper, put the little flowers on it, little doodads, and then right at the end we put the tags that slip in. So that was that first page. We'll do this one next. For those of you who haven't seen it, here's the other pages. I did it all with a base paper, and then I have 2 other papers and then some accents. I did that on a conscious choice. You can do it all in one color if you choose to do so. You can also not put all of the pieces and parts on if you want to have your matting paper go up and under things. I went ahead and finished these all off, and then I'm working around it in terms of matting, and for some people that might be a little bit more challenging. So if you want to assemble as you are working, that's totally fine. That was kind of thing like we ran into with this one, is deciding what we wanted to do along these sides with the paper, and we did that little bit up there, and then I'm going to do a strip, or I talked about doing a strip, but then I decided to leave it blank up there at the tippity toppity. So it's up to you. It's your book. You can cry if you want to. So there we go. So anyway, so that's what the pages are. We're going to set these aside, and so we will work a bit on the cover. Now, I do have the binding. This is part of the whole construction process from the construction videos with the XYZ binding. And this has, I'm using the binding on the pages, which it attaches to the outside of the little triangle binding bars, and then it sandwiches on the outside of the page. The Y version also attaches to the outside of the binding bars, but rather than being on the outside, it slips into the page, much like Stack the Deck, etc. does. So very similar. It's just whether you want the X or the Y. And then we have the Z pieces that are put in as you're attaching your binding bars to your spine. And these Z pieces will slip inside of some pockets that some journaling signatures will be able to go into. So you just have to decide if you're doing the Z ones in advance of attaching your binding bars down, because they get slipped in during the process of assembling, and it's got the little triangle pieces, as you can see there. So, and then with this one, it was a design choice on my part. If you didn't want to do it that way, you're fine not to. I have these little wings on the spine that my cover's attached to, but if you preferred, you could actually attach the cover piece right to your spine and not have these little extra pieces. I decided I liked the way that was going to look, so I went ahead and did that. So, excuse me. It is the season of my sinuses beginning to act up. So my cough returns, my sniffles return. So these can then be attached to either to the outside of that little wing, or it can be attached on. So you can choose whichever. I'm thinking I want to do it on the inside. I do know that I had chosen my papers already, and I think I showed these in the last class, because I decided I wanted to put this one on the cover. This is going to be an accent strip at the top and the bottom. And then the back cover, which is a similar look. So this will be the back cover. And then these two, I decided to go for the inside covers. And then I was going to do my spine with this purple. But then right towards the end of class, I have some of these hand-dyed kind of vintagey looking velvets. And this one is the perfect kind of purple iridescent to gold kind of color. And so I decided I'm going to use that on my spine. And then I had also found this is some trim. It's got some leather on it. So I thought those two looked kind of cool to go on to the spine. Does that sound okay? Oh, this looks really blue on camera. That's funny because it's a lovely kind of dusty lavender. I know it's blue base just because the edge is blue, but it's funny. It looks totally blue on camera. That's weird. Because it's not. So anyway, I just want to check too when you're having this little extra piece on there in terms of the width of my pages. So if I were to slip this on, I like working on my pages before it's assembled into the book. If you want to attach your pages into the book and then do the decorating, it's a totally an optional thing. So, but I'm going to just kind of hold that in place to see how far. Okay, so if I just want to make sure that I don't go too short or too wide. I think I'm going to go ahead and have, if I put this on the outside, I'd have 1/4 of an inch. If I do it onto the inside, I have about a 1/4 of an inch on the inside, and my hockey tape covers over that. So I don't have to put anything on the inside. So if I do that, and then we talked about this a little bit in class last time, is my papers are obviously smaller than my chipboard cover. So you always have to kind of creatively enhance, as we have done on many projects. I've had my digital papers out for what, 3 years, 4 years now, and so we've done many covers where it's a little bit short, and it's just an opportunity to add the accent strips, collage it a bit, that sort of thing. And that's where I'm going to bring in that little strip at the top and the bottom of some accent. I only really need it on one side, but I'm going to put it on both. So just adding that little accent piece. So if I do this onto the outside, yeah, so that works out nicely. It clears. If I do about a 1/4 of an inch gap, then it clears this little purple window. And so then I'm going to cover this entire piece with the lavender or purple, dusty violet velvet on it. So now the one thing, having worked with this velvet quite a few times, is if I use a regular glue with it, it does kind of bleed through. I just used some this morning on it. Yeah. If it'll show up on camera. Yeah, it does a little bit. This is one of the signatures I made for my 100-day project this morning, and you can see where the glue, where I glued it on, the glue kind of comes through the velvet, and this one's got some of the teal color. So I don't want that glue to show, so sometimes it's better on something like this to use an adhesive on it. So I'm going to use just some of my adhesive, my score tape on there. So I'm just going to go ahead, come back to the cover themselves, but I'm going to go ahead and work on my spine piece. Now, one thing a lot of people are not aware of is with the vast majority of velvets, and I'm going to, this isn't a super heavy duty thick velvet, is that you can tear velvet. And it'll give you a nice straight, runs down the grain that way. Curls a little bit, but that's okay too. And then you don't get all as much of the floofy stuff, the fuzzy floofy stuff around. So that's going to give me just enough kind of wrap around the edge. I don't want to do a lot. And I want this to be, I just want a little bit of wrap around. You know what? I think on the ends, because I already have the tape on there, I kind of like that kind of raw edgy look right there. So I'm just going to have it stop short. Haircut there. All right. So I'm going to have it cut. So I'm going to have it a little short so that the black tape shows at the top and bottom edge. So if I run that about a 1/4 inch. You definitely want your tape on each side of the joint. But you could also wrap the ends if you chose to. So Lois is telling me no hockey tape. I'm not sure if she's saying do you not have hockey tape, Lois? Is that what you're saying? I'm just gonna cover this whole thing. See, I turned you guys all into hockey tape people. It's amazing stuff. So I gotta restock. Not too tight. Right on. Is one better than the other? No, hockey tape is pretty much hockey tape. Hockey stick tape. Make sure you're not getting sock tape. You're getting stick tape. It's like a woven cloth tape, but it's readily available in many places. It's super strong. It comes in a lot of colors. I mainly just use the off-white and the black, but it does come in a lot of colors. And it's inexpensive. If you're ever looking for other kinds of woven type tapes, whether they're medical or bookbinding, if you buy bookbinding tape, it's almost exactly the same thing, and it's heck of a lot more expensive. So, getting this just pulled nice and taut. Nicely. But it's relatively low price. Yes, hockey tape it's a tape. And it comes in a variety of widths. I use the 1 inch mainly, but it comes in like 1.5 inches. I've seen it in 3/4 of an inch, that kind of thing. And it's a woven fabric tape. I've done several videos using it on my bindings and stuff. So it's sticky, and it sticks to a hockey stick that's being used to play hockey. They tape the bottom of their stick, the part that hits the puck. They tape that, and a lot of them tape it, especially the pros and all that, tape theirs before every game. So if it can withstand that kind of thing, it can certainly withstand paper crafters, though. I don't know, paper crafters are pretty darn tough, but no one brand is better than the other. If you can order this off of Amazon. or from hockey stores in the U.S. You know, there's Pure Hockey, there's Hockey Monkey, places like that. Up in Canada, you can get it at the grocery store practically, not quite, but you know, up in Canada, there's, you know, any number of hockey stores in any, as long as the town has a rink, it probably has a hockey store. The Hockey Shop is the main one I know up in Vancouver. But as I said, you can just order it off of Amazon too. Or any of the online order through, you know, the hockey stores. So yeah, it's like pretty much everywhere in Canada. Canadian Tire has it. Yeah, like I said, Canada practically has it in the grocery stores. So then I just want to rub that on. Yeah, see, Leslie just said like she gets hers at the grocery store. We've got a few Canadian boys back down here. The junior hockey is going to start up. No fans, but they're at least finally going to get to play. I feel so bad for some of these kids. You know, they're missing out on for some of them, it's their last season. So, I so miss going up to Canada. I'm going through withdrawals here, people. Sarah and I used to go like once a month. So it's so hard. But someday the border will reopen. I'm just gonna all be patient and wait for whatever our new normal is gonna be. So I'm just wrapping that around. That was, I think, one of the hardest parts about going into the quarantine lockdown and the border being closed is I was so looking forward to coming up and teaching in Calgary. Last June was when I was scheduled to do that, and I was so looking forward to it. So we'll get something else going once the border reopens again. So. Okay, now velvet is like any kind of plushy fabric. It does have a nap. It's not one of my... Okay, the nap's going this way. Okay, so the main grain of this is going this way. Well, see there, you can see it. See there, the angle I'm showing it. See it, how it kind of has that tone. That's the actual color. This blue that's showing here on the edge. It's not what it looks like in real life. It's more this kind of dusty purpley color. So anyway, I think the matte just messes the nap messes up on the camera. So because when I do it straight on, you can see the tape through there, and the blue. So because it was a blue based, you know, the fabric itself dyed blue, and then the velvet dyed a different color kind of thing. Different materials. I know this is a rayon velvet, and rayon is a natural fabric, and so it sometimes does things a little differently. So, all right, so we'll have that good to go, and then our covers are going to attach like so. But I think I want to put my papers on first. So. And I'm going to do that little accenty strip at the top and the bottom. I'm going to just line this up over into the corner. Ink everything up a little bit first. I'll keep these clean edged. I've been doing so much making my edges kind of ratty, but I'm being good. I kind of got away from that a little bit on the page. I said I was going to do very straightforward and clean, and then I rattied up some of the edges. So I'll do a little bit, but not a ton. My glue is tucked in behind my iPad. Meanwhile, Pam is having an argument with herself, saying it is so. I know she's just correcting her spelling. It almost looks like she was saying, is not, is so. Sorry, Pam. Alright, so I think I need to trim this down to fit. So if I trim off about 1/8 of an inch, I'll do it up at the top. Oh, good. She's not mad at me. She's laughing. That's good. Actually, I need another 1/8 of an inch. We'll do that one off the bottom. Alright, yeah, that fits in there perfectly. So we get that little accent. Look like it was intentional. All that good stuff. So, perfect. Go ahead and glue that down. Oh, that's right. I printed this wrong, and then so I just printed it on the other side since it didn't glue through. So typically it doesn't have something printed on the other side, but I was being miserly, not wanting to waste the paper. This is one of those that was printed on the mixed media paper. As we talked about during the last class, I talked about the different papers that I've been playing with printing my digitals on. I've been really pleased with how that's been working. I have also been thinking about doing, well, I'm just smoothing that down. I've been thinking about doing trying to do some Instagram videos, kind of demo-y type videos, quick, nothing super long, kind of like what my What's Up Wednesday, for those of you who are ancient and been around, or not, ancient in terms of as my peeps. If you've been around since I've been doing this for a while, my old What's Up Wednesday YouTube videos. I was thinking of doing those on Instagram. I'm really enjoying Instagram. I don't get nearly as much of the negative crap, for want of a better term, from people the way YouTube, you just get the people who tend to be vocal in their opinions, whether you want to hear it or not. Not so much anymore as I used to. That's part of the reason why we moved to Ustream all those years ago, because I just got tired of the toxicity of YouTube. And I'm not overly fond of Facebook. So I was thinking of starting doing those on Instagram. If people like that idea, I can also post them over on YouTube as well, but we would actually have them be on Instagram, and then I can move them over to YouTube later, if that's something people might be interested in me doing again. Or if people would prefer YouTube, I can do them there too. Yeah, What's Up Wednesdays were fun. I'm right there with those. And for those of you who weren't around all those years ago, What's Up Wednesdays were just, quick little demo projects. It was like, it's like super fun, easy, quick type things. So if you liked them before, those of you who are saying, oh, you still love those, is that something? Well, obviously, I think people would be interested. It's more now the format. Do we want to do those on Instagram? Or do we want to do those on YouTube? I have way more followers on YouTube. I probably should do it on YouTube. I need 6 more. I need 6 more to hit 1,000 on Instagram. So 6 more, peeps. I just need 6 more. It's Laura D. Dennison. I wish I didn't have the D in there because that confuses people. But Laura D. Dennison is my... Yeah, your phone is typing weird there, Pam. Is you were talking, I assume, to others today, complaining about how toxic YouTube is these days. Oh, it's always been toxic. It was toxic 10 years ago. Yeah, people were just... Okay, so this is going on this side, so this needs to go, because this has got... That's the back side, so it needs to go on that side. So I need to cut 1/4 of an inch off. I mean, it was to the point where people were complaining that my fingers were crooked, and it made them absolutely ill to watch my videos because my fingers were crooked. And they are. Look at But it was like, yeah, it just got to the point where it's like, I don't need this. People don't comment that much. I've also, until recently, I've had comments turned off. And if anybody never asked me a question on a YouTube video, whether it's current or old, because I don't respond to them because I have 0 notifications on and I don't go look. So if you have a question, it's always better to email me. Oh, you heard others saying that, yeah. Yeah, no, and it's like I said, it has been. I am personally finding Instagram to be the least toxic of the social medias. But as I said, I'm also willing to put them up on YouTube as well. Maybe they'll start out on Instagram and then I can take and post the videos over on YouTube a few days later or something. Maybe get Instagram gets first crack. Some other things that I know that we've talked about here on the one of the shows as eons ago as it was when I did a show before these two. What was that? New Year's, I think. One of the things we talked about is maybe doing some sort of Zoom class or something like that. So it would be as close to a online class. You know, we've done some here on YouTube Live, but it's the usual just, you know, listening to me blather on and not really, you just have to not necessarily, uh, you have to type rather than just talk. So that's one of the things I've thought about that would be fun to do is to have some sort of a Zoom class sometime. So I have some other ideas. When I start fleshing out the ideas of what I want to do on some of that stuff, I will post that. Oops, I need 2 more. I'll post that over on Paper Doodles so that we can figure some of that stuff out. But I think doing some sort of Zoom class would be a ton of fun. Now, I've never been on the hosting end on a Zoom thing, so I'd have to figure that part out. But I've done, you know, I've participated in, shoot, I've done some Zoom doctor appointments. So, but I can get that all figured out. Just everybody has to, you know how to mute things, especially me. Know how to mute things, dress appropriately, all that kind of stuff if we're doing the Zoom thing. Okay, nobody's chatting anymore. Okay. See, this is where it'd be nice on a Zoom thing, is I could hear your responses instead of sitting here going, okay, can they still hear me? It's been a couple minutes and nobody's saying anything. Oh, I guess that wasn't a great idea. Well, that's what I meant by dress appropriately. Well, you can wear your PJs and bunny slippers. That's fine because you're all covered. It's just making sure that people are appropriately covered, I think is my thing on this. In fact, I would say that would be a requisite is we should have it be a pajama party no matter what time of day it is. Okay, so that's the outside. So I'm having along this edge, because this is the one I want to put on the back. I'm going to have that coming all the way over to the edge, and then I'm going to have something else along here, and this is the outside edge. This is the binding side edge. So this is going to be like thusly. So then I can put some sort of an accent thing. I don't have to worry about that at this exact moment. So let's just get this done so that we can get this thing put together, and then we'll figure out our accent along that edge. Yeah, and everybody can hear the dogs, but that's okay. Dogs are fun. Dogs, except if you got a bunch of people and a bunch of dogs, and the dogs are barking, and then you've got dogs around the world all barking. I know my dogs have started other dogs barking as far away as Australia. So that's just kind of mind-boggling over the years that that's happened. No, we'd set up some parameters and suggestions if and when we do one of these. But I think it would be fun. It'd be fun. I mean, we can kind of do it like some of the online events where we've done it for like 3 days straight, or it can be something that gets spread out over time. And I meant to trim this and I didn't, so I get talking and then I get distracted. Okay, well, we've covered dogs, but nobody really said if that was something they were interested in. Okay, Christine would love a Zoom class. And this is the binding edge. So this one's going to go up against that edge, like so. Okay. Making sure I've got everything, because I get talking and then I'm like, oh wait, what? Does Zoom work for international? I don't know enough about it. I'll have to check it out and figure it out. Was it Zoom though, Joy, or was it, Zoom is just one kind of brand. It's kind of like become synonymous, kind of like how, you know, Xeroxing or Band-Aids or something like that. It kind of becomes synonymous. I wish I had stock in Zoom before the pandemic hit, though. You did Christmas with your granddaughter who was stuck in London. Okay, well, that's good to know. They just have to figure out the time zones. Okay, well, that's good there. Okay, so we don't have to be exclusionary to internationals if they want to adjust time zone wise to what's going on. Yeah, I've heard WebEx is a lot more complicated. So, isn't WebEx kind of what the like TV shows and stuff use? Okay, since this has these kind of ghostly, I think they're cicadas. I want to make sure everything was the right side up. Oh, Joy gets up at 4 a.m. and does things that are on the East Coast. She's a beast. Back in the ancient times when I was still living in Alaska and I was single, I was dating a guy who was a stockbroker. And that was when Alaska still, way back. Alaska now has 2 time zones, but that was back in the day when they had 4 time zones. And he used to get up for work. He had to kind of quote unquote go to work at like 3 a.m. for stock market opening. Because it used to be that Alaska and Anchorage was 6 hours behind the East Coast. Because the bell rings, I think, at 9 o'clock Eastern time. And now Anchorage is 4 hours behind because they're an hour behind us. And we're 3 hours. So it used to be 6, like Joy in Hawaii. Sometimes of the years, it's 6 hours to the East Coast. So like stockbrokers and stuff. Except not so much the stuff is done after hours and online and stuff. But back in the day, yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, Alaska used to have 4 time zones because geographically they're big enough to do that. But then they switched it to, and when you have parts of Alaska have 3 to 4 hours of daylight in the winter, and then 3 to 4 hours of darkness in the summer. So where you slide it around is really not that crazy. So it was not a big deal to consolidate it down to 2 time zones instead of 4. Yeah, look at Malins in Sweden and it's 2 a.m. I know. Personally, I'm like, y'all are crazy. Because I mean that in a very nice way. I would not get up at 2 a.m. for me to watch me. So the fact that you do is just kind of rather mind-blowing to me that people actually do that. So now, because I have this fabric on here, I'm going to go ahead and do glue here. I'm going to go glue right on the edge of that tape. Good night, Lois. Just hold this on. I might actually do I might put some. Oh, I should have done it before I put this paper on if I were going to do that, but I can add some accent. Thinking about doing some brads on there, even to hold it up, and also get some cool details. where my son is. He's a night owl. So I keep thinking that about Alexis. I go, Alexa, I wish you were younger and lived closer. I'm just using my good old tacky glue. We used to be, quick dry. Now it's just my stuff that I've used for 5 million years now. And as my typical commentary is, glues can be extremely subjective. What may work for me here in Washington may not work for Joy in Hawaii, or Pam in Boston, or Alexa down in Florida. Or Leslie up in Canada. So it's one of those things where you kind of got to figure out what works best for you, for your climate, it's such a subjective thing as to what works best for you. So we just got to hold it here. So this is exciting watching Laura hold her cover on, but if I have my little clips, I can use these. Flip it on. I can turn it over. So that's how it's looking on my cover. Then I don't have to do as much, don't always want all sorts of floofy stuff, but we're going to add some flowers and stuff. Got to have a little bit of floofy stuff. Yeah, the glue that I use does not work probably there in Florida, where it's much more humid. I know Joy talks about the glue that I like doesn't always work great for her, for the same reason there in Hawaii. So you kind of got to just experiment a bit to figure out what's going to work. Do a combination of regular glue and hot glue, and the hot glue holds it till the other glue sets up. I just goofed that up. That wasn't where I was supposed to do that. Tomatoes. Good old baby wipes. If you weren't all here, I'd just wipe it on the bottom of my desk, but y'all are. This is all going to get covered over, so. That's on the inside. So this is the one that I need it to glue. I don't remember to get the medium that I was going to get. I need to get some glue. Bottle's getting low, and we've been around when I've run out of glue on my show, and that's been rather humorous. So, 1/4 of an inch-ish from the joint. It's not super critical, it's just consistent. You don't want one being wider than the other. Okay, I don't have any more yeah, on your chair. I brought it underneath my desk. It looks disgusting underneath my desk. See, whenever I'm doing something like this, I hear the Jeopardy music in my head. Oh, Mary. Oh, that's right, Mary. You're in. I'm sorry. I'm reading back a bit. Aren't you in Tri-Cities, Mary? You're in This is, I don't know why I'm remembering this. You're in Richmond, I think? It's been a couple years. I used to be in Tri-Cities all the time when Trevor was playing hockey. We used to go to Tri-Cities for hockey all the time. Now I haven't been in Tri-Cities. Last time I was in Tri-Cities is I kind of went sort of by Tri-Cities on my way back, driving the car back from Boston, and I came up through Idaho and corner of Oregon and up through, and I went right past Tri-Cities, I think. Yeah, I don't know why I remembered that. It's like, sometimes the old brain works and most times it doesn't. Yeah, I wish I could say I miss Tri-Cities, but we had some really not pleasant experiences with hockey in Tri-Cities. Except did we go? Maybe I've been to Tri-Cities. It wasn't last season, but maybe the season before. So I guess it's been since I drove back. We went to one of the games when either Everett or Seattle was playing in Tri-Cities. So I guess we were there probably in either, it was like probably early 2019. So it's probably been right at 2 years. Because last hockey game we had was the weekend before my birthday. So that would be would be like the week of the 7th, 8th, 9th, somewhere around in there is last time because then we went for my birthday, we went down to Portland because we had gotten tickets to go to the hockey game in Portland, and then then they got put on pause, but we still, because it was still early, so we still went down to Portland, and it was a really weird feeling because downtown Portland was just absolutely dead, and we were afraid to do anything. It was before masking and all that kind of stuff. So, but I would say, yeah, it's probably been about 2 years since I've been over there. All right, so, whoops. Oh, you're in the Oregon Coast. We're in the Oregon Coast because I used to go to the Oregon Coast all the time. Let me see if I got more pieces of this. Where are they? I have some more. Where are they? Okay, there. I used to go over the Oregon Coast when I went to school in Eugene. That would be where I'd go to kind of recharge. I used to go over to like Florence all the time, and I also love. Sarah and I were down there about 6 months ago. God, my brain just went dead. Yeah, I love Florence. Florence is so pretty. Oh, how fun! Yeah, Washington Coast is kind of bleh. It's not as pretty. Oregon Coast is way, way prettier than Washington Coast, which is weird. It's just, Okay, we had sun earlier today, and now it's starting to rain hard. Except it looks like it's trying to hail. So it's like we've had the weirdest weather. Not quite as weird as like Texas, but we've had weird weather. Okay, those little clips will help hold it on there. So anyway, that kind of gives us our cover, and then we've got the inside. So we'll just leave that laying flat. And then I have this trim that I was going to put on here, and I think I want to do that and run it right along the edge. Do I want to run it that way along the edge, or do I want to hook it onto? Now it makes it almost too fat there, so we're going to run it right along the edge of, and this is a pleated velvety ribbon from millions of years ago. From Prima. I want it to go. Oh, it's got to go that way. Sorry, I don't want the pleats going up, but there's no way to make the pleats go down. Okay, who ordered this weather? It was so nice earlier. I think it's hailing out there. Let's see what it's doing. Oh, it says rain. Oh, it's supposed to snow at midnight. Oh, how special. And we're supposed to get snow on Tuesday. Yeah, because, climate change isn't real or anything. So that's my political statement for today. We're just going to drop it. I shouldn't have said that. I have my rules about no political statements. And I broke it. I apologize. But yeah, I mean, when stuff like this, like I said, this is like an ancient Prima trim, probably 9 or 10 years ago. Some of you may have it in an old kit. So, dig around. I can guarantee you, I don't care who you are, you have stuff stashed away. And use it. Some people, myself included, we tend to hoard things, afraid to use them. Let's not. Let's use them up. If you like it, use it. Oh, now we got lightning. Now we are hailing, and there was some lightning. I guess I gotta mush it down a little bit. It's not. Yeah. Okay. Massive amounts of hail and lightning. How fun is this? Okay, so let me just hold that for just a sec. I am assuming that you're totally with me on that, Christine, on using stuff up. You can keep it forever, but you never know what's might be around the corner. Probably something better, and that you'll want to get. So use what you have. I don't know if you guys can hear the hail bouncing off the window or not. And just like that, it stops. Wild. Alright, so we've got that. That's just a little bit there. So that, I think that trim looks good on there. And now the dogs are all barking. See, and then I love this trim that we found the other day. I think that looks so cool running down it. Kind of ties in with the brown. It would be even fun to do something, because it's little, it's not real leather, but it's these little leather strips. It would be fun to run something down there, like a ribbon that weaves in and out. Isn't that look cute? Okay, let me see what I have. Fine. terms of a ribbon that would go down. Oh, I know where would work. I was looking some of this. This is just some cotton-like stuff, but let's color it. Should we do it pinky or purple? No, since we already got purple, let's do pinky color. And then we can tie it. We don't do the whole piece. I'm just putting some ink on my nonstick. And spritzing some water on it. And I'll pop this into there, soak it up. I'm going to add some distress, or some vintage photo distress. I don't want to mop this up too much because I want to keep it to where it's kind of got that rusty look to it. Pull my mat out from underneath. And we will dry. Yes, Melon, you've been around that long. My very first video was in 2009. I want to say like April or May 2009. Yeah, one of the very, very first one was, those first few were from, it's a four-letter word in my opinion, but it's, were swaps. I was in some swap groups. So just turn it off while you spread this out. So keeping it running. I tend to do that. It's like, I'll let it keep running. This is a real lightweight woven cotton, and it's not sticking in my head, and then I tear it so it has a vintagey feel to it. So yeah, it was like on Sunshine, Sun and stuff. It was my very first one, and I remember doing the video And, back on those days, you could do 10 minutes. You could push it to about 10 minutes and 50 seconds, but that's about as far as you could push it. It would cut off, um, or wouldn't let you upload it. So, um, I remember the very first one I did, and it was like 26 minutes, and it was like I had to redo it a couple times, because I didn't know how to edit. I still don't. I just had somebody contact me about editing if I needed a video editor, and I'm like, I've never edited before. You can tell too, because now everybody has these very pro-looking videos with these fancy starts to them and all this bit, and I'm like going, I still do it. I'm still the one-shot wonder I was from the very beginning, and I don't look very professional in my videos, I know, but it's like, hey, but I'm having fun, and that's, I should make it look more pro, but I'm not a filmmaker. I just do my videos. So, 6 million views later, but I probably should do more with them. Yeah, because we started then. That was in 2009, and then in 2010 is when we started doing the Ustreams. And I think the first one was on color, color, and we mixed color and stuff like that. And then the first project we did was the My Guy album. And that first year, that 2010, we did My Guy, we did a wedding album, we did a baby album. Then 2011, January 2011 is when I did those first projects for Tim. I found the box day before yesterday of all the leftovers from doing those for Tim. God, that was a kick. I posted that over on Instagram yesterday, some pictures of that project. And that was the vintage suitcase. God, it doesn't feel like these projects and these things were that long ago, but they were. Oh God, my hair back in those days. Oh, and I used to call Prima like Pima, and I didn't know who were the manufacturers of anything. And oh God, it was. It's embarrassing to think about some of them now. So, all right, so we can get this out of there. Oh, I know. I have all sorts of video editors. My kids have volunteered to edit for me. It's just not my thing. I don't do Windows though. I'm an Apple girl, so. But Windows or Apple's got all sorts of video. Now watch, I'm gonna spend all this time on this, and then I don't know how it works. But it's just it's just not my thing. My kids make these videos, and I'm just like going, "Wow, how'd you do that?" They're like, "Well, you edit it, Mom." Problem with smart kids is sometimes they can be smart Alex too. See, I like how that's gonna look. That's gonna be cool. This is what sucks me. I get not in the overall thing of it. I mean, once it's designed inside my brain, it's like, yeah, it's good. I like it. It's fine. I get caught up in all of this little detaily, fussy stuff. I know a lot of people want to just get their project, quick and fast and down and dirty, and let's get it done. See, and I get so caught up in, see how cool that's looking. I get caught up in all this little detailed doodah stuff. Yeah, I wish I still had that original suitcase. Yeah, the that one of those first years, the we did that for like 2 years. We would do those in October. Is we would do the pink albums for a cure. So we did breast cancer albums, and then we did them via silent auction. Oh, those were fun. I should do that again. I should think of it like now to do it. That would be fun to revisit. Because what it was is then whoever won the auction, they would go make the donation for the amount to, they'd make the donation directly to breast cancer awareness stuff. And then so then it wasn't having to go through anybody. I didn't have to go through my books, my business books doing it. So, because that got complicated. So they'd make the donation and then whoever made the album would send it to the winner. Oh, that would be fun to do again. Yeah, I'm into the process. Once it's done, it's kind of like out of sight, out of mind. That's why I'm really seriously looking at starting to some of these older projects. It's like go ahead and get them finished up, and then maybe sell the projects and stuff. I have a couple of things that I've been planning that I'm not going to teach them, but I'll have the projects available for sale. I have some fairy stuff that I've been doing that I don't want to do it as a class necessarily, but I'm having so much fun making them. And what I was thinking of doing on that is put all that stuff that it's the finished projects and not class type stuff. Is putting that over on Etsy. Etsy, whatever, how you pronounce it. I've heard it pronounced both ways, whether it's Etsy or Etsy, I don't know. So I love how that looks. It would have been cool just with the brown, but see with all this pink in there? Huh? That makes me wonder if I should try to do some sort of bow. Put that up at the top. See, I'm always in this battle. I always want to make it kind of foofy and messy looking. I see some of these journals and things that are just all over the place, super messy. But I have to force myself to do that because my inclination is I want to be messy, but I don't know. I've decided it's the architect part of me or something that then it's like then the rest of me wants it to not to be so messy. So I don't know. It's so I can make that look like it's a tiger. Yeah, see, then it looks like it's tied. Do you like it with the bow thingy at the top? Well, it's kind of apart. Should we do the bow thingy, or should we just leave it plain? This isn't really long enough to tie a bow itself from afterwards. Yeah, maybe we could with this little piece. Let's do that. It'll be easier. I know, but people like, I want to be messier and less tidy with so much of this kind of stuff, and I tend to want it to control. So. Yeah, it totally looks like it's a corset. That's kind of what I wanted it to kind of look like. Okay, now I think I got that last year at Joann's. So now I gotta go back to Joann's and see if they got more of it because I love it and I want to get more. I want more! I probably should have put some score tape on there before I glued it, but it's not dried yet. So, of course. Okay, the one time it sticks. Well, maybe I can just glue it. This one glued on the edge. Okay, Deborah says no bow. Okay. Well, we'll make a bow and then decide. And again, you weren't here, Debbie, as I said in the beginning. I give the illusion that this is a democracy, but it's not. I'm the supreme ruler. Yeah, I just think that looks so cool. Try to get it close enough to where it'll focus. I like it. I like it. And now we can just take this. And fake my bow. Put that selvagey edge off. Bring that up a little bit. You know what? You're right, Debbie. I don't like the bow. So we'll just save this. We can use it somewhere else. I think it looks better without the bow. Let's see what other goodies we have in our little basket of goodies. I like these flowers. Those will work too. Yeah, no, I agree. No bow. We've all the decision has been rendered. No bow. Do I like the extra little lace on there? Still deciding. Shove a little more underneath the edge, see if I like it. Don't think I like that one. Let's see what other. Do I have any more up here? Ooh, what if we did? Do I have long enough pieces of these pearls? No, I think I'm just. I don't know. Let's see. More of that. I like that, but I don't think I have enough of that. Let me see what else I got. What else do I have? All these little bitsy pieces. Let me look in my bigger basket of goodies. This one's kind of yellow, but we can tone down the yellowness. I like that. That looks pretty. It just needs to get toned down. What do we got for time? I kind of get lost in my own little world when I'm doing this, so time is not always what I'm paying attention to. So okay, Mary gets the 2 points for tonight. I paid her to say that. No, we're not doing the food truck tonight. That was just that. It's not every Friday, so I don't know what food truck is up there today, but and I think we're gonna do sushi tonight, so that doesn't take. I've always got vintage photo fingertips, and that kind of gives it that rusty look. Like it's been hanging out with some old rusty nails. See, and it doesn't take much. Just some little bits and pieces of this, that, and stuff. You know, I'm not doing anything too elaborate. It's just, you know, using some trim. When I see a trim I like, you know, you don't have to buy a lot. Half a yard, if, you know, just, you know, don't have to spend a lot on trims, but it's fun to find trims at, you know, and use those. Alexa, yeah, you missed that earlier. I thought it was Thursday too, up until about 3 o'clock, and then all of a sudden I realized it was Friday, and that Sarah and I were out, and it was like, oh, we got to go home. I have a class at 4, so I totally hear you. You know, and it's like the thing is my life routine is really not massively different than it has been for the past 10 years. But, you know, my husband's working from home and my kids are both here. So it's, you know, while things haven't changed radically, I just lose track of days. And I don't know why, you know? So, but having my husband not getting up and going to work, you know, so it goofs me all up because he goes downstairs and goes to work at about, you know, 9 o'clock. He used to leave, you know, by 8:15ish. So now, you know, he just goes downstairs. So, you know, in some ways, yeah, things have changed because he's still, you know, working from home. He's actually enjoying it. He doesn't like to drive. Yeah, see, now that looks better. So yeah, so now by adding that vintage photo, it kind of blends in a little bit with the brown. It's still got a goldeny tone. It looks pink on camera, but it's not nearly as pink as that. So. You could also use a fabric tack type glue for this. Yeah, trims at like, yeah, those kind of shops like thrift stores and antique stores and stuff. Sometimes I found some really cool ones one time at, you know, like an antique shop. But I mean, not super frequently, but yeah, that's fun. fun to do. I need to go find some old books that I can chop up now. Yeah, you see these people go to these antique stores and stuff like that and find some of the coolest stuff, and I'm like, oh, yeah, we don't have that here. Just people hang on to their antique stuff here. That looks so pretty. See if I can get my clips off. Put the mat back up again. So that's on the spine. Oh, that looks so cute. Might be a little more foofy, I guess. I just got caught up in the moment. I don't know if style-wise it fits with the pages. But we can foof up our pages a little bit more. But I just love how it looks. Okay, these are ancient primas. These are from 2013. So they're all like the right colors. And they're fabricy, floofy ones. Let's save that one. I want to cover up all of the flowers. Save that for somewhere maybe inside. That bright green one, I think I'll save it for it's up there. But I like that better. Yeah, so it just kind of goes up the. So it's easy to see on camera. I'll do some photos, but I'll save these to do maybe somewhere inside. No, don't need that. I'll keep it plain. And then I could do something else out here, maybe with some of those words and stuff. The cut apart. These are the cut aparts. I can always pull some of these guys out and trim them out. Maybe put something like that. stick over the top of it and collage it on. And then we've got words that we can cut out. But I don't know if we do it this way. Let me just roughly cut it out, not spend the time cutting it out. Just addition it. Well, that kind of gets that collage-ish type thing on there. I kind of like that. Okay. That kind of all starts to pull together a bit. So let's go ahead and trim this guy out. I'm going to do it by, rather than cutting it, that makes it look kind of tornish. I think I'm going to do the rest of the edges. Just wiggle while I cut. So, the scissors, I mean, not me. You don't have to sit there and wiggle in your chair. That way, then we can rough up those edges. But I kind of like that one torn edge, but it's too much to do it all the way around that way. I'm not really sure how old Prima is. It's been around for a while. They were well established when I started. And I'm using the serrated edge. I'm just kind of running it on the edge, and it kind of gives it a rougher edge on there. I've already punched a hole in there, so guess what? I can retake that. See, this is why we didn't do a bow. Let's save it for that, where it looks way better. Yes, this is Forgotten Garden is the name of this paper collection. It's one that I did last like September and October, but I never put it up. There was, I don't know why, something was holding me back, and I never put it up. So now it's up. I'm inking the back side of the corners because I'm going to do a little. Oh. Oh, thank you, Arena. Happened to look and actually kept somebody saying something so I could think. Yeah, I like how that's looking. That's looking perfect. Okay, now we gotta start gluing this stuff down. I'm gonna leave the flowers and do them after I get this on there. Arena's lovely. I've seen you on here before, so yes, welcome from New Zealand. I love how we get people from all over the world. It's so cool. And that's upside down. And I'm not letting it, I'm just gluing it kind of in the center so it definitely has some. Bye, Christine. Thank you. You can sometimes find some of the older Prima flowers and stuff from a few years back and such. I don't know about this one. You can find those at Hobby Lobby because some of their older ones they've sold the selling rights or they've are given selling rights on some of the older ones to Hobby Lobby. I know some of the other, like Graphic 45, every once in a while you can get some old papers at Graphic 45, but that they just allowed, have allowed Hobby Lobby to print them. They're not printed. Like the flowers probably are made by Prima and sold to Hobby Lobby, but they sometimes I know I have some ones that I've used years ago that I see at Hobby Lobby. So I don't know if this collection though, but this collection is perfectly colored. But I tend to like lately use a lot more, as you all have seen me do, a lot more where I use the stemmed flowers and take them apart. You get more flowers for the same amount of money, and many times I can find them in the colors that I want. So anyway, I like how that has come out. And I'll photograph this and put this up so you guys all can see how that's coming along so pretty. And there's that pretty spine, but yeah, see, and then it ties in that same ribbon that is here. And I might add a few other little doodads and sparkle warkles. And I don't know if there's any words. But you know, you just cut out the words. Here's adventure. It's got to have the past on there. I don't know, I have to think on that, but anyway. Okay, Prima was established in 1999. Okay, so it's the year between my kids. Because Trevor's 98 and Sarah's 2000. So anyway, well, this has been fun. So then we'll continue on and work on pages. So now this will go, and this will be inside. So we'll open up, and it'll be there. So yeah, it's not terribly different. Oh, I've got these little pinky flowers. I might add a couple of little tiny pink flowers that we've got right here, so that it ties in. But yeah, just you can do, simple. This was two things: a tag and a cutout, and a package of flowers. And you can have a very effective look without doing a lot of stuff. And it's the kind of stuff that many of you probably have in your stash. And let's use some of that up. I know I have things like, I've loved these flowers. I've had them for all these years, and I haven't wanted to use them because they're so pretty. And it's like, well, I'm not looking at them other than when I pass them over in the drawer where I have a lot of this stuff, and I pass them over, and it's like, oh, it's so pretty, so I don't enjoy them. Well, put them on a project, and because I still got them. I still can enjoy them. If I give this away, then somebody else can enjoy them. But sitting in a package in a drawer or a box or a tub or something is not enjoying them. So the pages, all of the pages print out like, this one, they're all the exact same size. They're 8 by 10 usable area. And all of my papers, they're all 8 by 10 because I use the same base. So they're all 8 by 10. And so it should have about 1/4 inch on 3 sides and a little bit more down at the bottom. So, because that's where my copyright stuff is. So you should have that amount of space when you're printing your papers on an 8.5 by 11 sheet. Jane, so, and my covers are 8.5 by 11. So as you can see, so I've added at the top of the bottom, and then it had about 1/2 inch along the side. So you can splice on, add on, accent, that sort of thing. I still have this 1/2 inch in here that I need to cover with some accent, because with the 8 by 10 on an 8.5 by 11, it's going to be short. Except, actually, this wasn't 8.5 by 11. This cover is 10 1/4. 8.5 by 10 1/4 is this cover. So that's why, I trimmed it down a little to add for the extra. And that's why I have 1/2 inch in width, just to add on to it. But it gives you opportunity to add an accent, add some trim, do something like that. Is it, do you have it, yeah, it might be in your printer settings, but as I said, you should, when you print these out on an 8.5 by 11 sheet, you should have about, it's close to 1/4 inch on these sides, and it's about 5/8 to 3/4 at the bottom. If it's 1/4 and 3/4, that would be right, and then 1/4 and 1/4. And it's 8 by 10 usable area on all the sheets when they print out. But you may have to mess with your settings. All right, does anybody have any other questions, comments, that kind of good stuff? Otherwise, we'll be back again next Friday, as long as I remember it's Friday. Yeah, I probably would have trimmed my paper and added this on there anyway, because I like that little accenty strip at the top and the bottom. So, alrighty, guys. So, as I said, I will photograph this. I'll probably put it up on Instagram, but I'll also put it up on over on Paper Doodles, and we will go from there. So. Oh, Alexa, thank you. Thank you as always to Joy for being my wingman as always, appreciated. And Lois, if you're watching this, thank you as well. She always shows up. And like I said, as I've always said, I wouldn't be able to do it without you guys. But I also appreciate all of you joining me here in my studio. It's fun to kind of getting back in the swing and doing this. And it kind of just kind of helps finish off the week, because I've done Friday nights for years. You know, it was 10 years worth of Friday nights, and then I kind of got out of the swing. But I'm feeling like I'm kind of getting my groove back again. So anyway, yeah, my wingman. I wasn't thinking about that as birds, but yeah, that kind of is appropriate for me and you, Joyce. So, alrighty, guys. So thank you once again, and we shall see you next Friday. So peace out. Love you bunches. Bye for now.